Welcome back to the Snark Squad, and honestly, we are just wishing you an amazing fucking day.
Truly the most amazing fucking day.
Because, babes, the gossip blogs stay giving us life. Cheers to you.
Cheers to you, and cheers to the absolute unmitigated chaos that literally sustains us. I mean, I have never been more horrified and fascinated by human behavior.
Right. But wait, I need everyone to pause for a second. We need to shift the energy.
Okay, shifting.
Because, babes, it's Saturday morning, and this is episode 1000.
I can't even.
Yes, babes, 1000. Just let that land for a second. We have literally sat on this exact couch 1000 times and hit record.
It's sick. It's a sickness.
No, I am getting genuinely emotional. Like, wow, we really did that. We did that.
I mean, realistically, who allowed this? Like, who gave us microphones and just let us spiral unchecked for 1,000 hours of recorded audio?
Stop.
No, the real question is how we haven't been issued, like, a blanket cease and desist by the entire NBC Universal legal department at this point.
Oh my God, do not put that energy into the universe. Let me have my emotional moment. We have to give our flowers. Cheers to our producer, Allison. Because Babes has been here doing the damn thing, holding it down.
Holding it down through every technical difficulty, every unhinged rant, literally everything.
Exactly. And cheers to the Snark Squad, honestly,
Yeah.
for sharing, commenting, subscribing, and just showing up. Babes, this does not happen without you.
It really doesn't. You guys are the enablers. We desperately need to validate our pop culture obsessions.
100%.
But it really gets you thinking, right? Like, what are other things we've actually done 1,000 times? Because right now, sitting on this couch feels like the most consistent, long-term commitment of my entire adult life.
Honestly, overanalyzing reality TV until our brains bleed. That's definitely one.
Drinking iced coffee to the absolute point of clinical heart palpitations.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, and pulling 1,000 teeth. Just normal dentist life things.
Yeah. Oh my God, right. Well, I was looking at my accounts this morning, and I don't even have $1,000 in my bank account right now, so there's that.
Stop it.
But I definitely have more than $1,000 in student loans, so does that count? Like, can we celebrate that particular financial milestone?
No. Do not ruin my celebratory mood with the crushing realities of the American educational debt system.
I'm just being real.
We are manifesting absolute abundance today. Because, babes, the massive caramel iced coffees are on deck. And honestly, we are caffeinated, activated, and so damn grateful for all of you. Take a sip, settle in.
Settle all the way in. Since we're feeling reflective, let's do roses and thorns for this upcoming Saturday. Give the people what they want, right? Our emotional instability wrapped up in a neat little bow.
Okay. My rose is definitely the fact that we made it to episode 1000, and I am just surrounded by so much love and gratitude today. I'm excited to just bask in this milestone.
That's actually sweet.
Right. But my thorn,
Yeah.
the fact that my iced coffee is already half gone, the ice is melting, and I just know the caffeine crash is going to hit me exactly at 3 p.m. when I have to go run errands in the real world.
The 3 p.m. crash is brutal.
It is. What about you?
Okay, my rose is that the reality TV gods have absolutely blessed us with the most unhinged 24 hours of news. Meaning we don't even have to try hard today to find the mess. Like, the content literally writes itself.
It really does.
But my thorn, the sheer volume of delusion we have to unpack, it is physically taxing to process this much narcissism before noon.
It requires a level of psychological fortitude I'm not sure we possess today.
We don't.
But we carry the burden for the people. Let's get right into the mess. We are diving straight into the biggest celebrity and reality TV gossip from the last 24 hours. And we have to start in the Hamptons.
Oh, we have to. The Summer House reunion audio leak. I mean, the ultimate betrayal.
Okay, let's break down the mechanics of this because it is explosive. We're talking nuclear level.
Completely new.
Right, so it allegedly, raw audio from the Summer House reunion, which literally just taped, leaked onto social media. Now, for anyone who doesn't know the absolute fortress that is a Bravo production, leaking audio from a reunion is nearly impossible.
They take phones, they lock down sets, everyone signs these ironclad NDAs.
Exactly. So the fact that this is out there is massive. And the content, oh my God. Ciara Miller absolutely obliterates Amanda Batula. She straight up calls her a snake in the fucking grass, whose entire MO is manipulating people.
And the jaw-dropping moment is when someone on the audio, it sounds like Ciara, or maybe even Mia, accuses Amanda of going from being married to being one of West Side bitches.
I gasped.
Let's just pause and appreciate the poetry of that read. You went from married to one of West Side bitches? I mean, that belongs in the Bravo Louvre.
It's art. It really is.
Yeah.
But here's where it gets deeply psychological and where I actually want to push back on the initial narrative I had.
Oh, do tell.
So when I first heard the audio, I thought Amanda was just acting like a panicked teenager. You know, like when a teenager hides a terrible report card under their mattress because they're terrified of getting grounded, even though they know the lie will just make it worse later.
Right, the panic response.
Exactly. I thought Amanda just panicked about the West romance. But looking closer at her defense in this leaked audio, it is so much darker and more calculated than that.
Thank you. Yes, I've been saying this. She isn't a panic teenager. She is a PR strategist trying to control a sinking ship.
Go off, explain.
Let's look at what she actually says. Amanda claims she lied to Ciara, her literal best friend, because there was a, quote, smoked out video of her and West.
Yes, the smoked out video.
Right, a vulnerable, intimate video that was circulating, and she says she didn't want to admit to the relationship because she was terrified this video would be used as blackmail.
And what exactly does a smoked out video mean in 2026? It means a video where you are heavily under the influence, in a compromising position, and highly vulnerable. It's the ultimate leverage.
Exactly.
But here's my thesis on this. Amanda weaponized Kyle's historically bad reputation to play the ultimate victim all season. She spent the entire summer crying, acting distant, letting Kyle look like the bad guy.
Which is so easy to do with Kyle.
So easy, because of his partying and awful communication. Meanwhile, she was secretly hooking up with his best friend. She used Kyle's past as a human shield so no one would look at her own behavior.
That is exactly the point. It is purely manipulative. And she tries to use legal technicalities to justify her moral failings. During this leaked audio, they really get into the timeline.
The timeline is everything.
Right. And Amanda claims she, quote, wasn't married anymore when she started hooking up with West. And Ciara brilliantly reminds her that according to the state of New York, she is still legally married.
You don't just get to declare it.
Exactly. You can't just Michael Scott declare bankruptcy on your marriage. There is a legal separation process.
And Amanda's defense is so infuriatingly arrogant. She literally screams, am I supposed to stay celibate and single for the rest of my life until a judge signs paperwork?
Which completely misses the point of why Ciara is furious.
Completely.
It's a classic straw man argument. Nobody, absolutely nobody, was telling Amanda to join a convent. Ciara explicitly says in the audio, no one is saying you need to stay celibate. There are a million fucking other guys in New York City. You chose the one.
She chose the one guy who was her estranged husband's close friend.
And, crucially, the exact guy who completely shattered Ciara's heart on national television just last year.
That is the ultimate betrayal. The absolute cruelty of looking at your best friend, who was humiliated by this man, and secretly sliding into his bed.
It's vile.
And we have the receipts on the line. Ciara actually texted Amanda, asked her point blank about the rumors with West. She gave her an out. And Amanda looked at her phone, typed no, and hit send. She 100% denied it.
Only to drop that joint Instagram statement confirming it weeks later.
Sending the entire fandom into a tailspin.
But let's talk about the actual physical fallout at this reunion, because the reports leaking from the production crew are painting a very specific, combative picture.
Oh, I heard it was awful.
West was reportedly incredibly aggressive at the reunion. He wasn't just defending himself. He was speaking for Amanda, like her attack dog. And according to sources, neither of them showed an ounce of remorse.
And the visuals of them leaving the studio are giving high camp absurdity.
The blanket.
Yes. Amanda leaving the reunion studio draped in a literal blanket over her head to hide from the paparazzi, scurrying into a black SUV.
Yeah.
And getting into the exact same car as West.
The audacity.
While Ciara, holding her head high, left through the garage area like a professional. It's the Bravo equivalent of a walk of shame, but infinitely more pathetic because they thought they were outsmarting the audience.
And it proves that Jesse Solomon is a modern-day prophet.
Oh, Jesse called it.
He was on Watch What Happens Live last week, and he predicted this exact behavioral pattern. He said West would be combative, and he straight up said he doubts Amanda and West will make it as a couple.
Jesse broke down the exact math of why this relationship is doomed. He pointed out that Amanda is 5 years older than West. She wants stability, and West is absolutely, fundamentally not ready for a serious relationship.
We literally watched West run away from Ciara the second things got slightly real last season.
Exactly. Jesse even admitted that season 11 of Summer House is totally up in the air right now because the producers don't even know how to navigate this divided cast.
I mean, how could they? You have Ciara and the girls on one side, West and Amanda on an island, and Kyle floating in the ether of a pending divorce.
Well, the producers might not know how to film season 11, but the Bravo executives know exactly how to navigate a leak. with absolute fury.
Well, they were livid. They launched a full-scale internal forensic investigation.
I saw that. Andy Cohen was literally in the back of a car on his way to eye surgery, reading this news on Threads, and he went off. He called the leak illegal and disgusting.
I mean, think about the mechanics of a reunion shoot. They sit on those freezing cold sound stages under blazing hot lights for 10, sometimes 12 hours, screaming at each other, dredging up their worst traumas.
Sounds like a nightmare.
Andy said the cast laid their souls bare, and leaking it destroys the dramatic tension they need for the broadcast. It's stealing the product before it goes to market.
But here's where the conspiracy theories get fascinating.
Oh, the blogosphere is wild today.
The rumor mill is spinning a very specific narrative that West actually leaked the audio himself.
I saw this. Walk me through the logic here, because initially I thought that was crazy. Why would you leak audio of your girlfriend getting destroyed?
Right, but look at the economics of his specific situation. West is arguably the most hated man on Bravo right now. He knows he might not get a contract for season 11, or if he does, he'll be completely iced out by the majority of the cast. So the theory is that he wanted to paint Amanda as the villain, take the heat off himself, get himself intentionally fired for breaking his NDA, and then go do a massive, highly paid tell-all interview with a digital outlet like Complex or GQ.
Wow. Let me blow up my reality TV career so I can get a one-off, 5-figure paycheck from a digital magazine.
That's the theory.
It's incredibly short-sighted, it's messy, but honestly, it tracks perfectly with his impulsive behavior. If Amanda and Wes couldn't figure out how to navigate this situation without imploding their entire social ecosystem, they truly deserve each other.
They really do.
Well, speaking of imploding ecosystems, from the messy relationship timelines in the Hamptons, we have to look at the exact same desperate PR mechanics happening across the country in Beverly Hills.
Oh, God, take me to Beverly Hills.
The reunion energy over there is just as toxic, but wrapped in a shiny, expensive veneer of wellness and manifesting.
The cognitive dissonance of the Beverly Hills crowd is staggering. Let's talk about Amanda Francis at the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion.
Okay. For those who don't know, Amanda Francis is a massive figure in the online business coaching and wellness space. She sells courses, writes books. Her whole brand is built on feminine energy, manifesting wealth, and being an enlightened CEO.
And she joined RHOBH as a friend of this season. She just gave a wildly revealing interview to Bustle about the reunion taping.
And it is a masterclass in someone entirely misunderstanding the medium of reality television.
Completely misunderstanding it. She admits in this interview that the RHOBH reunion happened to tape on the exact same day as the 15th anniversary of her business.
Okay, and?
And she says, with her whole chest, that she had this incredibly naive expectation that because it was her spiritual anniversary, the universe would provide some sort of positive karma or energy to protect her on the reunion couches.
I read that and almost choked. Expecting the Bravo universe to align with your personal spiritual business anniversary is like expecting a great white shark not to bite you because you're a vegetarian.
It doesn't work like that.
The shark does not care. Andy Cohen does not care about your positive karma. He cares about Nielsen ratings and viral TikTok clips.
Exactly. She was specifically so frustrated with Dorrit Kemsley. We all remember that explosive dinner mid-season where Amanda used the word accosted to describe Dorrit's behavior.
How could we forget?
Dorrit brought it up at the reunion like a dog with a bone, and Amanda's still baffled by it. She told Bustle that her intention in conflict is always to resolve it, and she felt Dorrit just wanted to drag it out for screen time.
Which, yes, that is Dorrit's literal job description.
But what really gets under Amanda's skin, and this goes back to the economics we were talking about, is how the housewives' rhetoric has threatened her actual bottom line. She feels like the show has unfairly reduced her legitimate business to just manifesting money.
Which is funny because she literally teaches people how to manifest money.
Right, but she was arguing so hard in this interview that if you actually look at the curriculum of her work, there is neuroscience, metacognition, psychology, and behavioral economics behind it.
Big words.
It's not just sitting cross-legged in a dark room thinking about dollar bills until they magically appear in your bank account. She feels the show made her look like a woo-woo scam artist.
But let's look at the actual numbers, because her book sales are insane right now. She admitted she's consistently sitting at #1 in women in business on Amazon.
Yeah, she's raking it in.
She's getting this massive influx of Bravo fans, checking out her entry-level, low-ticket offers, the $5 meditations, the $11 workbooks. So on one hand, she's complaining about the edit, but on the other hand, she feels like she's getting the assignment of the show right by bringing her principles to a massive mainstream audience.
Exactly. She wants to be a martyr, but she's cashing the checks.
Yeah.
And here's my take. When you build an entire multi-million-dollar brand on being an enlightened, emotionally regulated, neuroscience-driven CEO, and you completely crumble the second Dorrit Kemsley raises her voice across the dinner table, the facade cracks.
It absolutely shatters.
It is very easy to manifest peace when you are meditating in a $500 sound bath in Malibu. It is a hell of a lot harder to maintain that enlightened persona when you are sitting across from women whose actual contracted job is to psychologically dismantle you for ratings.
It's the ultimate stress test for these wellness gurus, and they almost always fail. But speaking of Beverly Hills alumni who have absolutely nothing left to lose, Brandi Glanville is making headlines again, and I know you actually found this kind of sweet, which we need to talk about.
I did. I really did find it sweet. Brandi declared on her podcast this week that she genuinely wants to squash the beef with Lisa Vanderpump.
After 10 years.
Yes. It has been a full 10 years since their catastrophic friendship fallout, and Brandi literally said, I kind of miss her, honestly.
Yeah.
We would talk mad shit. And you know what? That's true. They were an iconic duo.
Calling this sweet is a very generous, romanticized interpretation of Brandi Glanville looking at her rapidly depleting bank account and realizing she desperately needs a storyline.
No, listen to the context. She was fiercely defending LVP against Shiana Shea's new book.
Oh, right. The book.
Shiana just released a memoir where she wrote some horrible, ungrateful things about Vanderpump, and Brandi went off on her. Brandi reminded everyone that LVP literally saved Shiana.
Okay, the tooth story.
Yes. When Shiana fell and knocked her front tooth out years ago, she had no money, and LVP paid for the massive dental reconstruction. Brandi said, you didn't write this trash when you guys were friends and she got you jobs and made you famous. Why do it now?
Okay, first of all, the visual of Lisa Vanderpump dripping in diamonds, pulling out her Amex to buy Shiana a front tooth is an incredible piece of Bravo history.
Right. It's iconic. And Brandi even went out of her way to shade the current RHOBH cast to curry favor with Lisa. She tweeted that the current girls give us absolutely nothing, that we learn more about their lives from reading Page 6 tabloids than we do from watching the show. And she claimed Dorrit is the only one providing any real entertainment.
She's not wrong about that part.
So I really think, stripped of all the Hollywood nonsense, Brandi's genuinely nostalgic for that era of her life and that core foundational friendship with Lisa.
I am shutting this optimistic narrative down right now.
Let me be optimistic.
No, we are talking about the economics of desperation, so let's look at the actual math and the actual PR strategy here. Brandi is not suddenly overcome with warm, fuzzy feelings for the woman she vehemently accused of manipulating her like a puppet for years.
So what is it then?
What is actually happening in the real world? Brandi recently lost $500,000 in that brutal defamation lawsuit to Joanna Krupa. $500,000 gone.
That is a lot of money.
She is embroiled in the ultimate girls trip lawsuit. Stassi Schroeder, meanwhile, is currently getting a brand new show produced by Lisa Vanderpump over at Hulu.
Oh my God, the Hulu connection.
Exactly. Brandi is broke. She is legally and financially radioactive to most major networks right now. She looks at the landscape and she sees LVP as the only viable lifeline, the only golden ticket back to a steady, high-paying Bravo or Hulu paycheck.
Wow.
Aligning with Lisa right now is a coldly calculated business move masquerading as nostalgia. It's a resume submission disguised as a podcast clip.
You just ripped the rose-colored glasses right off my face, stomped on them, and threw them in the trash.
I had to.
But mathematically, you're entirely right. It's about survival. And speaking of survival in Beverly Hills, let's pivot to someone else who is dealing with some intense, very real health and body image struggles.
Yeah.
Teddi Mellencamp.
This was a really dark but profoundly real moment on the podcast circuit this week.
It really was. On her 2 T's in a Pod show, Teddi revealed that she recently begged her oncologist for GLP-1 weight loss drugs.
Which is wild context.
Right, for context, GLP-1s are medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, or Mounjaro, drugs that regulate appetite and insulin, which have basically taken over Hollywood. Teddi has been battling stage 4 melanoma, and the heavy, life-saving steroids from her cancer treatments caused her to retain water and gain weight.
And we have to unpack the psychology of what she said. She admitted that she joked to her doctor, I am a health and wellness coach who's dying of cancer. Let me have the GLP-1s.
Also sad.
And her doctor, rightfully, flat out told her no, because her body is currently fighting a massive war and doesn't need to be starved.
The dark humor there is honestly so relatable and heartbreaking. You are going through this horrific life-or-death health battle. Your body is changing due to medication that is literally keeping you alive, and your brain, which has been conditioned by decades of Hollywood beauty standards, is still screaming, but I don't fit into my size 2 jeans right now.
It's toxic.
The absolute mental torture of that is wild.
It highlights this insane toxic pressure cooker. Teddy built an empire on her company All In, which is based on strict accountability and extreme fitness regimens.
Yeah, that's her whole brand.
To have a terrifying disease strip you of all bodily control, and then to have the medical community look at you and say, no, you have to sit in this physical discomfort, you cannot quick fix this. That has to be a profound mind trip for a control freak.
And the craziest part of the segment was Dolores Catania.
Oh my God, Dolores.
Dolores was guest hosting with her, and Dolores's response to Teddy's pain was peak chaotic New Jersey housewives energy. Dolores literally told her to just go somewhere else, go to a med spa for the meds, or just start with me, because Dolores was taking her GLP-1 dose the very next day and offered to share it.
Dolores was essentially like, listen, if you were really dying, the doctor would let you do coke, snort whatever you want to numb the pain, so obviously you're fine. Just take the Ozempic.
It was so wildly inappropriate, medically dangerous, but also the exact kind of chaotic, ride-or-die support you expect from a Real Housewife. They operate on a completely different moral and medical compass.
They really do. And just quickly before we leave the Beverly Hills adjacent news, speaking of the Bravo ecosystem expanding, Lisa Rinna is out here relentlessly campaigning for her Traitors co-star Maura Higgins to be the next Bachelorette.
Yes. Maura is already slated to be on Dancing with the Stars season 35, and Rinna is doing the press rounds saying Maura is such magnetic, incredible television that she should just take over every franchise on network TV.
Which is completely fair. Maura on Love Island was legendary.
She was amazing.
But we have to address the elephant in the room. The only reason ABC is even desperately looking for a replacement Bachelorette right now is because of the absolute unprecedented disaster that happened with their original choice.
Exactly. Lisa Rinna only has to pitch Maura because the original Bachelorette literally got her season canceled over a massive, harrowing domestic violence scandal. Let's head to Utah and talk about the extremely dark reality of the secret lives of Mormon wives.
This is where things transition from reality TV messy to actual real-world darkness. The economic desperation of reality TV doesn't stop when the police show up. It actually accelerates.
Trigger warning for the Snark Squad. We are deeply discussing domestic violence allegations and child endangerment right now. So, Taylor Frankie Paul, the breakout star of Salon MW, and her ex, Dakota Mortensen.
This whole situation is so bleak.
U.S. Weekly just got hold of the official Draper Police Department report, and it is chilling. Dakota handed over 6 different videos to the police to build his case.
The details of these videos are horrifying. They aren't just arguments, they are documentation of abuse.
The most damning video is from September 2024. They are actively screaming and physically arguing in a hotel bed, and their newborn infant son Ever is right there in the bed with them.
With the baby right there.
Yes. Dakota is filming her, claiming on camera that she is attacking him, pointing out a red, inflamed mark on his face. Taylor is aggressively accusing him of pinching her to provoke a reaction.
That's the part that turns your stomach, having an infant in the literal crossfire of physical violence.
And then Dakota makes this massive, sweeping claim on camera that Taylor has beat him for a couple of years. It's not an isolated incident. He's alleging a sustained pattern of domestic violence.
And the courts took it seriously.
They did. As a result of these videos and the police report, the legal system stepped in. Dakota has officially been granted a protective order against Taylor and has been awarded temporary custody of their son, Ever. Taylor only gets up to 8 hours of supervised visitation a week. The court has deemed her a danger to her own child.
And yet, amidst all of this actual, tangible, legal, and familial chaos, the Hollywood machine just keeps churning.
It never stops.
This is what I mean by the moral bankruptcy of unscripted television. Rob Mills, the executive vice president of unscripted TV for Disney, gave an interview this week actually defending casting Taylor as the Bachelorette in the first place.
How do you defend that?
I don't know. He literally said her motives for coming on the show were sincere because she's a mom raising 3 kids with different fathers, and she was genuinely looking for a partner to help her build a stable life.
Sincere.
He had the audacity to call the Bachelorette season they partially filmed before her arrest, quote, really, really fantastic.
That is repulsive.
Let's translate sincere motives from Disney executive speak into reality. It means she has an incredibly messy, highly documented, legally precarious personal life that guarantees millions of morbidly curious viewers will tune in to watch the train wreck.
They don't cast stability, they cast volatility.
Exactly. And the absolute craziest part of this entire story is that Rob Mills casually confirmed that Secret Lives of Mormon Wives Season 5 on Hulu is officially resuming production.
Wait, what? They were halfway through filming the season when her arrest happened, and they aren't scrapping the footage.
Not only are they not scrapping the footage, they are actively going back into production right now before the district attorney has even officially decided if felony charges are going to be filed against her.
Because chaos is currency. They know the ratings are going to be astronomical. The executives are looking at a domestic violence protective order and seeing a season premiere cliffhanger.
It is so deeply cynical.
It is. But Taylor isn't the only one bringing absolute mess to Salon to secure a bag.
Yeah.
Let's pivot to the Hulu Get Real event, where Jessie Draper, who is currently in the middle of divorcing her husband Jordan, was caught aggressively making out with Vanderpump Villa's resident villain Marciano Brunette.
Oh my God, the photos from this event, I cannot unsee them. It is burned into my retinas.
They were everywhere.
Marciano posted a picture on his Instagram of him literally lifting Jessie up off the ground and aggressively kissing her, but he put a giant green heart emoji over her face to hide her identity.
As if we didn't know.
Right, as if we didn't all know exactly who she was based on the specific, bedazzled outfit she posted on her own grid an hour earlier.
It was the worst kept secret on the internet. Jessie actually spoke to Entertainment Tonight about it on the red carpet. She played it so cool, saying, "He's one on the roster. You know, one of many. I'm single for the first time in 10 years. I'm just excited to have fun."
Sure, Jan.
And her co-star Meiji was standing right next to her, looking absolutely horrified, muttering, "He's nice, but do I want her to be with him long term? Probably not."
Meiji is the only one with a functioning prefrontal cortex on that cast.
But I kind of get it from Jessie's perspective. Like, I know it's messy, but she's been married for a decade in a very conservative culture. She's finally free. She's got newfound reality TV fame and money. And she's just running around trying all the different flavors.
Trying all the flavors.
Yeah, it's like a kid in a candy store who finally has a $20 bill. She's going crazy.
Yeah.
She's experiencing life.
A kid in a candy store. Absolutely not. Let me give you a much more accurate mechanical analogy for what this is.
Okay, let's hear it.
This is like walking into a massive, luxurious reality TV buffet with hundreds of high-quality, stable options and choosing to bypass all of it to eat the stale, moldy bread sitting directly under the sneeze guard.
Oh, my God.
That is Marciano Brunette. He is universally disliked by the Bravo fandom after his horrifically toxic behavior on Vanderpump Villa. This isn't a woman just having fun after a divorce. This is pure, calculated, crossover clout chasing.
You think it was entirely for the cameras?
100%. Jessie knows exactly what gets the blogs talking, making out with the primary villain from another network show at a Hulu-sponsored corporate event. That is reality TV PR 101.
You're right.
It guarantees both of them a headline, it drives engagement to their pages, and it solidifies her brand as the wild single girl for the upcoming season of Salon MW. It's a business transaction involving saliva.
You are so incredibly cynical, but looking at the mechanics of it, the math checks out. Jessie might be messy with her new freedom, but honestly, she's got absolutely nothing on the legal warfare happening right now with the stars of MTV.
The MTV universe is an entirely different level of litigation. It makes Bravo look like amateur hour. Let's start with the feud that will outlive us all. Teen Mom 2's Kay Lowry and Chris Lopez.
The feud that will truly never die. They got into it on a TikTok live this week, and it devolved into brutal financial warfare.
It was so bad.
Kale was responding to fans in the chat, asking why she constantly jokes about Chris being broke, and she just snapped. She went off and exposed that she paid over $1,500 out of her own pocket so her third baby daddy, Chris, could officially get his bachelor's degree.
She literally dropped the numbers.
She looked right into the camera and said, "I paid for the fucking bachelor's degree. You wouldn't have graduated if I didn't."
And she didn't stop at the tuition. She brought the receipts on his child support down to the penny.
Yes. She exposed the exact math of his garnished wages. She said he is court-ordered to pay $288 a month for their two sons, Lux and Creed. But because of wage garnishment, his check is only coming out to $191 a month.
Humiliate.
She literally told the internet that she gets two checks for $95.77 a month from the state.
And Chris, of course, fired back on Instagram.
Obviously.
He claimed his mom actually went behind his back to ask Cale for the $1,500 to clear his bursar hold because he specifically told his mom he'd rather drop out of college entirely than take a single dime from Cale.
Oof.
And then Chris hits her with the ultimate, deeply researched shade. He brings up the fact that Cale donated $10,000 to Delaware State University while she was actively a student there to establish a scholarship.
Wait, really?
Yes. His implication is that she only got her communications degree because she essentially paid the school off. He said the only degree they paid for was theirs. When they failed a class, it was really a payment to pass. See, I feel terrible for Cale in this specific instance. To have your generosity weaponized and thrown in your face like that. Her ex's mother secretly begged her for help so her son could graduate. Cale stepped up, paid the money so the father of her children could have a degree, and now he's acting like she's a villain for mentioning it.
Is she a villain, though?
That has to hurt on a deeply human level.
Does it hurt? Or is it a weapon she wields? Let's be analytical here. Cale specifically repeatedly weaponizes her massive financial advantage to publicly humiliate her exes and control the narrative.
That she helped him.
She didn't bring up that $1,500 out of the goodness of her heart. She brought it up on a public TikTok live stream to 30,000 strangers to actively emasculate him and prove that she is the superior, financially stable parent.
Okay, that's fair.
She knows exactly how much child support he pays down to the cent, and she broadcasts it to millions of followers as a punitive measure. It's not generosity, it's financial warfare dressed up as transparency. God, it's so toxic. When you frame it as financial warfare, it completely changes the dynamic. And speaking of toxic MTV parenting and financial warfare, we have a massive, very dark update on Janelle Evans.
Surprise, surprise, the swamp is draining.
Andrew Lewis, who is the father of her 16-year-old son, Jace, has officially filed for partial custody in court. He wants secondary custody and visitation, and he is petitioning the judge to give Barbara Janelle's mom primary custody again.
The cycle continues.
He is actively asking the judge to strip Janelle of her rights and only give her supervised visitation. But the real kicker here, the thing that ties into everything we've been saying about reality stars faking their wealth, in the medical bills.
You mean the medical bills that Janelle literally went to TMZ to brag about paying?
Exactly. A few weeks ago, Janelle gave this exclusive, self-congratulatory interview to TMZ, claiming her son is fully covered by health insurance, and she is currently handling and paying for all his massive medical care from a private sponsor.
A private sponsor?
She wanted to look like the wealthy, responsible matriarch. Well, Andrew just exposed that as a complete, utter fabrication in his court filings.
What did the filings say? Because I know it's bad.
He stated under oath that there is no sponsor, none. The bills for Jace's extended stay at a psychiatric mental health facility are over $102,000.
Oh my God.
And guess who is getting hit with those claims? Andrew's insurance. He is a normal guy working a normal job, and he is drowning in 6 figures of medical debt because Janelle put Jace in a facility, pulled him out against medical advice when she got mad, and is now refusing to pay a single dime of the balance.
It is deeply fundamentally disturbing that she would use TMZ as a PR mouthpiece to lie about paying for her child's severe psychiatric care purely to protect her brand image, while the father gets slapped with a 6-figure bill that could bankrupt him.
It's evil.
It is the darkest form of PR. But somehow, the situation over on TLC's Unexpected is even more sinister.
It is straight out of a true crime documentary on Hulu. We have to talk about Casey Johnson, the father of 14-year-old Hunter.
This story is wild.
Casey just won emergency temporary custody of his son in court. The judge made an extraordinary ruling that Hunter was at immediate risk of harm if returned to his mom, Stacy's house. And the judge went a step further. They completely banned Stacy, the grandmother Phelan Vaughn, and Chris Vaughn from having any contact with Hunter whatsoever.
And the details of why Phelan, the grandmother, was banned are terrifying. It's a masterclass in psychological manipulation.
Casey, the dad, got a hold of a secret burner cell phone that Phelan had bought for Hunter to bypass the parents.
A burner phone for a 14-year-old.
He found what the court called highly inappropriate and excessive late-night texts between Phelan, who's an adult woman, and this 14-year-old boy. Phelan was texting him highly manipulative things like, I just hope you are on our side, like you said. We've done so much for you and think of you like our son.
It is textbook parental alienation and grooming. She is systematically grooming this vulnerable kid to turn against his own father in the middle of a vicious custody battle.
It makes me sick.
She was buying him expensive baseball gear, having it shipped to her house to forcefully bait him into coming over to see her, and then they were actively deleting the text messages so the dad wouldn't see the trail of manipulation. The judge shutting down all contact immediately was the only sane, protective response to this level of interference.
It's so heavy. We just need to protect these kids who never asked to be born into reality TV dynasties.
Really do.
On a slightly lighter, but still messy MTV note, just briefly before we move on, C.T. Tamburello, the absolute legend from The Challenge, is getting divorced.
Castle Daddy is back on the market. The economy of The Challenge is about to shift.
His wife, OnlyFans model Catalina White, officially filed for divorce. They were married for less than 2 years after a completely secret Florida wedding. They don't have any kids together, so hopefully it's a clean break. But, you know, with C.T., the drama always follows him.
It always does. From the MTV courtroom chaos, let's bring it all the way back to the East Coast Bravo legends. The text messages are just as vicious, and the businesses are literally being thrown out onto the sidewalk.
The East Coast carnage. Let's start in Atlanta with the Real Housewives of Atlanta's Drew Sidora and Ralph Pittman.
Oh, this is so petty.
TMZ got hold of the text messages submitted in their ongoing divorce, and it is a masterclass in petty financial warfare. Ralph texts Drew out of nowhere, demanding she pay exactly half the $9,000 in monthly household expenses. He actually texts her, I had to buy salt for the pool as it's being serviced today, and light bulbs.
The absolute audacity of a man who hasn't paid his mortgage asking his estranged, wildly successful wife to Venmo him for light bulbs. It is the height of emasculated delusion.
Right, because Drew fires back and she does not miss. She texts, how can you say I haven't given you money? I've given you 50% of my money for Real Housewives, my movies, and my endorsement deals.
And then she drops the absolute nuke.
She claims in text that Ralph took $300,000 from her personal injury settlement, all while they are currently $25,000 behind on their Georgia mortgage.
For context, a personal injury settlement is completely legally distinct from marital assets in most states. If he funneled that money into his own accounts while letting the house go into foreclosure, it's not just messy, it's potentially actionable.
It's criminal.
And then the texts devolve into pure, unadulterated biblical pettiness.
Yes. Drew texts him, you got banished from church for trying to date the politician's daughter, you loser. My mom and I tried to save you, but only God can save you now. I pray you repent. I mean, banished from church for trying to date the politician's daughter is a hyper-specific read that belongs in the Bravo Hall of Fame immediately.
And Drew isn't just fighting a war on the home front with Ralph. She's catching strays on social media from her castmates, specifically Kelly Farrell.
This was so unbelievably messy. A random fan on Threads posted that they didn't miss Kelly on the latest episode of RHOA. Drew's official verified account replies directly to the fan, I don't think nobody did.
Which is such bad grammar.
Kelly immediately sees the shade and goes nuclear on Twitter. She tells Drew to focus on her broken family instead of her, tags it with the hashtag #DrowningDrew, and taunts her about having to do carpool in the morning, which is a direct, brutal, below-the-belt shot at the fact that Drew literally just lost primary custody of her kids to Ralph.
And what was Drew's response to getting absolutely eviscerated? The classic cowardly celebrity cop-out. She posts a Notes app statement saying a team member who had access to her account acted independently, went rogue, and has now been fired. Sure, Ann.
You don't buy the rogue assistant excuse.
Nobody buys the "my assistant went rogue on Threads" excuse in 2026. It is the oldest trick in the PR playbook. You got caught being shady on Maine, Kelly hit you back where it actually deeply hurt, and you panicked and blamed an intern who probably doesn't exist. It's weak.
Well, speaking of panicking and things falling apart, Kenya Moore is having a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad week.
Understatement of the century. The facade has entirely crumbled.
Videos are going viral all over Instagram and TikTok showing Kenya Moore's highly publicized hair spa equipment being aggressively dragged out of the building by movers and left on the actual sidewalk.
It's hard to watch.
The landlord sued her for a staggering $87,976 in unpaid rent, claiming she hasn't paid a dime since December 2024.
Almost 90 grand in rent.
And the sheer karmic pettiness of this universe. Britt Eady, the woman who sued Bravo for $20 million over Kenya's poster board stunt that got her fired, literally drove her car by the salon, rolled down the window, and filmed the eviction for her Instagram story with the caption, "Never win when you play dirty."
The schadenfreude is off the charts.
But it makes me so sad. Watching Kenya's salon eviction is like watching the tragic fall of a glamorous empire. She invested $300,000 of her own hard-earned money into that space. It was supposed to be her crowning achievement, her legacy outside of Housewives, and now her expensive hooded dryers are sitting next to a storm drain. It's heartbreaking.
I'm going to stop you right there. Do not eulogize this empire.
But she worked so hard.
An empire built on fake business hours, an inability to book actual appointments, and $87,000 in unpaid commercial rent was always just a house of cards waiting to collapse.
You're so cold.
We have to look at the reality of Bravo businesses. The fans in Atlanta have been saying for over a year that the place never seemed open. You can't run a brick-and-mortar salon on vibes, aesthetics, and Bravo screen time. You actually have to pay the commercial lease. It was a prop for the show that became a massive financial liability the second she got fired.
Okay, that is harsh, but honestly, looking at the commercial real estate market, it's fair. A prop business only works if the cameras are rolling to subsidize it. Let's move up the coast to New Jersey, where Teresa Giudice is trying to orchestrate her own empire moves behind the scenes.
Or at least she thinks she is orchestrating them.
Teresa went on a podcast this week and casually dropped that she isn't sure she'll be filming with her brother Joe and sister-in-law Melissa Gorga for season 15. She said, "Bravo hasn't said anything. But if we do, hopefully we'll both have each other's backs."
Such a liar.
But insiders at the network are completely bewildered by this quote. Bravo already officially confirmed the cast, the contracts are signed, and everyone in production knows Teresa and Melissa actually made up off-camera at the end of last year to save their jobs.
Which is exactly why this quote is a classic, transparent, mafia-style Teresa power play. She knows they have to film together. She knows the contracts are inked. By going to the press right before cameras go up and acting ambivalent, she is actively keeping Melissa and Joe walking on eggshells.
Totally.
She's publicly signaling that her forgiveness is highly conditional, and if they misstep even once during filming, she will ice them out again, refuse to film, and jeopardize their paychecks. It's manipulative, it's exhausting, but honestly, it's highly effective.
It's exhausting. I would so much rather have Vicky Gunvalson's specific set of problems right now.
Which are what, exactly? Having entirely too much money and zero self-awareness.
Literally. Vicky's son, Michael Wolfsmith, posted a hilarious rant on Instagram revealing the sheer economics of his mother's life. He revealed that Vicky makes $12,000 for a single 30-second Instagram video ad.
12 grand for 30 seconds.
And she was literally about to shoot another one for $10,000 while he was filming her, all while Michael is jokingly begging his followers for $50 and some egg rolls. And the insane irony of this is that Vicky is simultaneously in the news for selling her massive company, Kodo Insurance, after 35 years because she's tired of working 10-hour days.
Let's do the math on that. When you suddenly realize you can make 22 grand in a minute and a half by propping up your iPhone and talking about an anti-aging serum, suddenly dealing with actuarial tables, life insurance premiums, and managing a staff for 10 hours a day loses its appeal.
I mean, I get it.
The reality TV influencer economy completely warped her sense of labor. I don't blame her at all. Cash out, get the bag, Vicky.
Get the bag. We have to end the recap segment today with the most bizarre, unhinged story of the week. The absolute sheer madness coming out of the Real Housewives of Rhode Island.
I have read this specific story 3 times today. I have cross-referenced the quotes, and my brain still actively rejects the information as reality.
Jo Ellen Tiberi went on the Bravo after show and dropped a nuclear bomb about her 41-year-old sister, Jen. Jo Ellen revealed that Jen literally asked for her husband, Gary's sperm.
It's so gross.
Jen looked at her sister and said, "If I don't have a baby by next year, can I have your sperm?" Meaning Gary's sperm. And Jo Ellen had to look at her sister and explain basic genetics, telling her to go to a literal sperm bank because, quote, "what would make my kids and her kids? They'd be siblings."
The genealogy chart would just be a terrifying concentric circle.
Sir.
And the absolute madness of this entire situation is that the fans spent the first half of the season convinced that Jen and Gary had some deep, dark, romantic history that was fueling this sibling rivalry. But Jo Ellen clarified on the after show that they never even dated. They never even kissed. Her exact verbatim words were, "He touched her boobs one time."
Sibling rivalry over a man who touched your boobs exactly once in high school 2 decades ago, culminating in a casual request for his genetic material so he can raise his child. Bravo has truly found the motherlode of pathology in Rhode Island.
It is a profound, staggering lack of boundaries that you simply cannot script. No Hollywood writer could pitch a scene where a woman asks her sister for her husband's sperm based on a 20-year-old second base encounter. It defies logic.
Babes, I feel like my brain has run a literal marathon through the absolute gutters of reality television today, and honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way.
I need a shower, an iced coffee refill, a nap, and perhaps an emergency consultation with a licensed therapist to successfully unhear the Rhode Island sperm request. It is going to haunt my dreams.
We want to wrap up today by just circling back to where we started, thanking the Snark Squad from the bottom of our hearts for being part of this incredible journey to episode 1000. You guys are the entire reason we get to sit here, caffeinated and activated, and overanalyze the absurdity of pop culture.
Please keep sharing the show, subscribing, and showing love. Send links to your friends, leave those 5-star reviews on the apps, and keep this incredibly weird, wonderful community thriving. We see all your comments, your unhinged theories, your DMs, and we appreciate every single one of them.
Babes, 1,000 episodes later, and we're still here, still caffeinated and still incredibly messy, exactly as we should be. But before we go, I want to leave you with one final provocative thought based on everything we unpacked today.
Oh, lay it on them.
We talk so much about the economics of desperation, about reality stars acting as PR agents to protect their image. We, the audience, demand the drama, which forces them into these corners. But think about Amanda Batula specifically. If Amanda was willing to blow up her entire life, humiliate her husband, betray her best friend, and lie to producers just to hide from a single smoked-out video, what exactly is on that video that is so catastrophic we haven't seen it yet?
Oh, the truth always develops eventually, even in the dark room.
Stay iconic, stay caffeinated, and we will see you on the Snark side.